Alright, welcome back to the Cutlass Board Games channel. This is a Masters Challenge format deck tech video with the partner Pokemon Pidgey. If you don't know what the Masters Challenge format is, you can find other videos on the channel that kind of go through the rules and explain it, but it is a 100 card singleton format akin to Magic the Gathering's Commander, where you have a partner Pokemon, and in this case mine is Pidgey, and it is trying to be a casual format. And look, if you are curious and want to find out more, go and have a look. I've got a bunch of rules videos, a couple other deck texts and stuff that explains how it all works, but for now it's time to talk about this cool colorless lightning deck that I've been working on. So first of all, we have our current Pidgey as our partner Pokemon with a Holon Phantoms Delta species Pidgey. This one is kind of cool. And because it gives us access to a lot of lightning type Pokemon here, and the aim of this kind of deck is a lot of draw cards to try and set up a combo, and I'll get to what that is in a second, but let's just kind of run through some stuff. Because with our Pidgey we get the Airmail Pidgeotto, and then after that Pidgeotto EX. So having the ability to search your deck every turn, it's pretty good. Especially when you're trying to combo, you're trying to get a couple pieces together to make all happen. And then we've got a Rhydon, which will help us get out our lightning type Pokemon, or Fan Rotom, which will help us get out our normal type Pokemon. Basically, on the first turn, you're trying to figure out which of the two of these you can assemble as fast as possible to then pick out which consistency Pokemon you're going to try and make. If it's Rhydon, you're probably getting a Rotom. And then some other pieces because our actual attackers are in the lightning type. With Fan Rotom, we can actually get this Ditto that can evolve into anything and then evolve into the lightning type Pokemon that we need to be able to attack with. So we have some cool options that way. Basically, all of the normal type Pokemon are there for drawing cards with the exception of Ditto. And then we have a lot of our lightning type Pokemon that just care about getting a lot of lightning energy into play. For example, this Flaffy, this Ampharos that will let you move as many basic energy cards attached to one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. So if you can just get a bunch of them in play, you can send them all off to the active Pokemon. I have this one Japanese card because it is coming out with Surging Sparks. I don't actually have it yet, but it's coming soon. It lets you knock it out and attach up to 3 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your lightning Pokemon. Very good. Or if instead, Magnezone, which lets you play as many lightning energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon. This creates an interesting dichotomy between the two things, because if this is knocked out, you can't make a Magnezone. A Magnezone is pretty good. But the Ditto lets us split up the evolutionary tree a little bit, and we can Ditto into Magneton, crack it, that's fine, and then Magnemite Rare Candy, which is down here, into the Magnezone, so that we can have both effects. We also have a similar one with the Electro GX, which it also blows up, gives 2 prizes, and then you attach 5 energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. Tapu Koko does kind of the same thing. You put Tapu Koko in the Lost Zone, and then you put a lightning energy on 2 of your benched Pokemon. Can't tell if you've noticed a theme yet. We also have Raichu V, where you can use this attack during your first turn. Oh my god. And then you can search for energy cards and attach it. But also it can get payoff from having a lot of lightning energy attached to things as well. But the actual combo that we are trying to make happen is get as many lightning energy onto this Alolan Raichu. And then when you use Electro Rain, you discard any amount of lightning energy from this Pokemon. Then, for each energy you discarded in this way, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and do 30 damage to it. In this way, you find from all of your opponents as many Pokemon that you can KO with, increments of 30. So you're looking for as many 60 HP on, like kind of 90 HP things. And then going, okay, 30 here, 30 here, 30 here, 30 here, and then trying to get as many KOs as you can to try and win the game in one turn. So it's going to be like a lot of dirtling and setup, and then hopefully a big payoff turn where you do like a big kind of a bang. which is kind of cool. I really like the concept for this. Not very many combo decks really exist like this, especially like in standard. In standard, it's much less combo-y and much more just trying to be consistent. So this like lets you dream big and do kind of some cool stuff, and I'm kind of excited about that. But one of the main things that people ask me when it comes to the MCF format is kind of how the items and supporters and all that kind of stuff comes together, because there's a lot to choose from. In this deck, we can kind of see this big slice of items here. I have pretty much every relevant ball. Cherish Ball, because he gets the Electro GX and the Den, which lets us draw cards. Level Ball, Nest Ball, Ultra Ball, Quick Ball. But then we also have stuff like Capturing Aroma, Evolution Incense, and then Luxury Ball, which is like actually my new favorite thing. Because let's search for a Pokemon that isn't a level X, and then put it in your hand. And then if you have any Luxury Ball in your discard pile, you can't play Luxury Ball. Well, you're only allowed one, so that's never going to happen. And it's any Pokemon except level X, so it's pretty much Master Ball. It's pretty great. And we've got stuff like Junk Arm and Item Finder to repeat some things. These cards were like broken in the formats that they were released in. But in this, it's just like, cool, I'm just going to get a second effect out of something. And the goal is to try and get as many consistency things happening. And not many cards have 2 or more versions printed. For example, Technical Machine Evolution has really only one thing that does something similar, Evoluta, but it's only one Pokemon. And then it doesn't fall off at the end of the turn. So you're kind of committing to that. So a lot of this kind of stuff is about trying to find how I consistently set up on my guys, get my guys on the bench happening, search out Pokemon as consistently as possible, like Puffin, like Communication, like looking for as many of these cards that say search your deck for a Pokemon is what you want. This deck in particular needs to find a lot of lightning energy. So we've got Professor's Letter, which gets 2 basic, and Vessel, which gets 2 basic, but we're also playing a lot of like retrieval effects. We have both retrievals. That's going to put lightning energy from my discard pile into our hand so that we can Magnezone it back into play. We do just kind of want to have a lot in the discard pile for Electrode or for Magnezone. Battle Compressor was in here originally, and I have cut it. I probably should put it back in because it will help us get lightning energy into the discard pile. But pretty much, I just try and search for as much as I can, and then search for a research and discard the entire hand and draw 7 that way. That's kind of like the main goal. But let's kind of run through. Actually, let's do energy first, and then we'll do supporters. We have speed energy because it says draw 2 cards. It's pretty good. And then we have reversal, counter energy, and scramble energy. These all kind of do the same thing. If an opponent has less prize cards than you, it makes rainbow energy of multiples. Like reversal is 3, and then counter energy is 2, and then scramble energy is 3. So these can all make lightning. And each of these, if you're just like attaching it for turn to your Pikachu or to your Raichu, then you go, okay, well, here's 6 or here's 8 if you get all of them. And then whatever other regular lightning you can get attached, it just kind of gets you to that number a bit quicker. And because Electrode knocks itself out and Magnezone knocks itself out to give your opponent prizes, these things turn on and then you can kind of combo out, which is kind of cool. But then, yeah, let's have a look at our supporters. So we have a few like Pokemon Breeders Nurturing, where you basically Evo Soda or Boost Shake, where you search your deck for cards that would evolve from Pokemon that you have in play and put them on top of it to evolve them. This one's pretty good, but also Wally does kind of the same thing. You can't use a Pokemon EX. What a shame. I'm not actually playing any and put it onto that Pokemon. It counts, but Wally's different in that you can use it on your first turn or on a Pokemon that was put into play this turn. Whereas the other ones, you have to wait a turn. Wally is just like, no, well, here's Pidgeot. We got him. Or Pidgeotto, rather. I don't think you can get to Pidgeot right away. Because we have Boost Shake that you can use it on your first turn and on a Pokemon that was just put into play, but it ends your turn. So you could Wally, Boost Shake, have a Pidgeot, not be able to search and have to pass. Whereas Evo Soda searches your deck for a card that evolves one of your Pokemon, which counts as evolving it. And then shuffle your deck. You can't use this on your first turn, and you can't use it on a Pokemon that was just put into play this turn. But when your goal is to get up the evolutionary line of a Pokemon, playing something like this that just searches for the thing and puts it into play is really good. So a lot of that kind of stuff is really recommended. Pretty much everything else here says search your deck. Twins, if your opponent has more prize cards than you, search your deck for 2 cards. This is really easy to activate for this deck. Raihan, if something was knocked out during my opponent's last turn, I attach a basic energy and search my deck for a card. Very good. Ball Guide just gets 3 balls. This is great on your first turn to try and set up and do stuff. Sonia is 2 basic Pokemon or 2 basic energy. In this deck, Sonia's like really good on the first turn or like later to get 2 lightning energy. Jacques, 2 evolution Pokemon. So that's like, let's go and get your Alolan Raichu or go and get Ampharos or something like that. Peony is discard your hand, get 2 trainer cards. This is another way to discard a bunch of lightning energy from our hand to set up for the Electrode, which I think is kind of necessary. Arven is just kind of really good in standard at the moment, so there's kind of, I don't see any reason to never not play this card. Especially because we have access to Forest Sealstone with the Raichu V, Rotom V, and Raikou V, so that we can, it's a lot of R's, so that we can always use that to search our deck for something, and then also search for an item, which is either something to set up and like find a Pokemon, or like a utility like a Scoop Up Net or a Superior Energy Retrieval. So like it's just pretty strong. Skylar is just any trainer card. Now Gladion and Hisuian Heavy Ball I think should go in every deck, because you would just always kind of need to get something out of your prizes. So Gladion is really good there. Teammates is, if something was knocked out, search your deck for 2 cards. Red's Challenge is basically a supporter computer search, discard 2 cards, search your deck for something. Rosa, if one of your guys was knocked out, search your deck for a trainer card and a basic energy card. This one again, really good, helping you get set up. Guzma is just prime catcher, but the supporter. Guzma and Hala gets you a stadium card, and if you discard 2 cards, you get a tool and a special energy. We kind of want to be finding special energy in this deck because they will count as 3, and then some of the tools will help us evolve things, or Forest Sealstone and help us search our deck for another thing. So I think that's really good as well. Chorus's Tenacity is similar. We go and get a stadium and an energy card, so we can get one of our special energy, and we can get Stormy Mountain, which searches for lightning type Pokemon, or Artisan that gets basic, non-rule box, or Skyfield, which gets 8 Pokemon on the bench. So Skyfield lets Raikou kind of pop off a little bit, but also lets us have like Squawkabilly and Shaman EX and all that kind of stuff come in and sit down on the bench, and then we bump Skyfield and we get to just discard them, so they're no longer a bench liability for prizes. And then lastly is Volknar, which is obviously the like just lightning deck card. We get a lightning energy and an item card. This is kind of similar to a lot of the other ones, but everything is just kind of search for something and help you get set up. Some decks will play more things like Boss's Orders and things like that. This one is not playing Lissandra's trump card. Most of my other ones do. This one is not, because I want a lot of lightning energy in the discard pile, and I don't want to rely on that getting shuffled away. Just so I get some item recycling. But when Alolan Raichu is knocked out, then I don't really have any recovery for that. The goal is to just really set up and fire it off. Very kind of like glass cannony. So I could find some space for, like a Super Rod or a Night Stretcher or something, to help me kind of recover if something like that happened. But the idea is just to be fun, not insanely competitive, and just kind of, goofily come through and go, hey, here's my thing. Oh, I got him. I kind of like this. I got to play this yesterday. I had 10 energy attached when I finally fired off, and I got 3 prizes. It wasn't great. I probably should have waited a little bit longer. But there was pressure on me, and because I had cracked the Electrode, my opponent was in front by quite a bit, and I was like, well, I got to send it. But I think it's pretty fun. I might tinker with it a little bit here and there and try and make it, like actually fire off a little bit more consistently. And I'm looking for that new Magma Zone as well. So there are some little upgrades to be made, but I think this is a cool deck, and it's fun, and playing around to the combo is kind of cool. And that's what some of the things that I really want to kind of happen out of the MCF format is people building silly stuff like this, or like, this is my goal, I want a Radiant Steelix Mind Tide deck into the bin or whatever. and just try and play, you know, silly combos, silly stuff, and try and win the game that way, which is fun. That was like kind of the point of Commander, is everyone playing subpar cards because they like them and doing goofy stuff, and you know, just playing casually and having fun, which is what we want. So look, if you're curious about the MCF format, check out the channel. I've got a bunch of stuff on there about it, explaining how it works, and some other deck techs and stuff that I've done. But we also do a lot of other board game content on the channel, so maybe check some of that out too. And you know, if you're curious about this, come have a look. You know, come check out some of the documents that we've got and get yourself started playing in the MCF format.